Hi everyone, you're welcome to today's tutorial. I'm so glad to have you here today. So today we are making this draft here is the basic skirt pattern. And in my video where I made the basic skirt pattern, I mentioned that this other class is going to be for the bum lift. Here we're going to illustrate how to add a bum lift to your skirt. We're going to have a vent here, and then we are going to, this skirt is going to have a lining. So this pattern is going to be drafted with zip allowance, a bum lift, and a back vent. So the other basic pattern that we drafted, that was basically for stretchy fabric. So if you have not seen the video, please you can go and watch the video. And as you can see here, I have only the back pattern with me because the front pattern is the same thing. So on the other video, I drafted both the front and the back pattern. But today we are concentrating on the back pattern alone. So here I've gone ahead to measure the length. Remember the length of our skirt, short skirt, the length is 23, and then the hip measurement is 42 divided by 4, 10.5. So this is here is 10.5, and then we ruled out the hip line between 8 and 10, and then here we took away 5 inch from the center back, measured the waist, and then we connected the waist to the hip line, went up by ½ inch here and constructed our dart line. Please, for proper understanding, you can check the former video because today's concentration is going to be on the zip allowance, the back vent, and the bum lift. So right now what we are going to do here is, on the other pattern we went in by 1 inch, and I told you that if you go in by 1 inch, then on the back pattern you will distribute the 1 inch on both sides. So I want to make this video, I want to use 1.5, so that for those that want to know what to do, if they want to use 1.5, they don't want to use 1. I said you can use 1 inch, you can use 1.5, you can use 2 inch to curve the hem of your skirt. So if you are using 1.5, this is what you are going to do. On this side, that is the center, the side of the skirt, you are going to, from the hip line here, from the hip line, you are going to take away here, you are going to take away 1 inch here. 1 inch, you will connect the 1 inch to the hip line, like that. You connect the 1 inch to the hip line. Remember, we didn't add any sewing allowance to this skirt, like that. 1 inch here. So the other ½ inch, you're going to come to the back here. You're going to come to the back here. This is the center back where you have your zip allowance from here to this place. Then your center back here. From the hemline, we will go up by 7 inches. This 7 inches is for our vent here. From here, you will draw, you come out by 2 inches this way. Here, you come out by 2 inches, and then you square up the line. This line is for our back vent, and this back vent is going to overlap at the back. It's a short skirt, so we want it to overlap at the back. So this very point, we are going to put in our ½ inch here and connect the ½ inch to the hip line, the second hip line here. So this here is going to give us a balanced measurement with the front. So here is 1 and this is ½. On the front line, we went in by 1.5. So if you are using 2, like on the long skirts that I drafted, you can check the video for long skirts. On the long skirt I drafted, I went in by 2 inches because most of the time for your long skirt, you need the shape really on from your hip line, you need the shape to go down. So on the long skirt, I used 2 inches. You can check the video for the long skirt. So now that we have this here is going to be our vent here. It's going to be our back vent here. This place here is going to help the back tightening here. So now we are going to construct our bum lift. So to give your skirt the bum lift, this is what you will do. You will come to this first hip line here, and then you will cut it open like that to this very end, but you're not going to cut it off totally. So just pay attention to what I'm about to do now. So I'm going to cut it. Sorry, I just want to, let me just remove this. Okay. So I'm going to cut the hip line here. I'm not going to cut it off. You see, I still have something, I still have a bit of space holding it down. Then once that is done, what you do next is you will move the upper part this way, not the bottom side. The bottom side is going to remain straight, but you are going to move the upper part. You will move it up like that, and then you will move it up by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to place this here. I'm going to place this here just to help me to construct. So here now I have 1.5. So once you have your 1.5 opening here, you can take it down. Use your sellotape to hold it down so that it doesn't move. Okay, so I think we are good now. Okay, so on this side here, we're going to close up. We're going to close up our pattern here this way. Just use the curl ruler to close it up like that. And then once that is done, you have your bum. You have your bum lift. So the next thing we'll do before we cut out is we'll add we'll add our zipper allowance. So from the curve here, from this 5 inch, remember we're going to cut it out from that 5 inch. I will mark 1 inch, and this 1 inch here is for the back zipper allowance. You can see the way I'm following the curve here, this curve here. That is what I'm following to make the back allowance there. So on the hem line here, remember for this pattern we are using lining. So on the hem here we are going to add 2 inches here. This 2 inches here we are going to use it to turn our lining. So for this pattern we are going to have a full lining. You can have full lining, you can have half, you can have it halfway, and you can have it full. So for this tutorial, I want to make it full. In other tutorials, I'm going to make the half lining, but for this one, I'm going to make it full. So at this point, we can cut it out. So now this is for the back. Remember I told you in my, I don't know if you've watched my video, if you want to cut out any straight line, if you know you are going to fold it in, just fold it this way. And then this is the bent this way. And then I'm cutting out the zipper allowance like so. So for the front here, this is for the side back. I'm going to cut off this way. Okay, so you can see this is what we have. This is our vent, and this is our bum lift here. So this is the 2 inches we are going to use to turn in the lining here. So for this side, you can decide to have a bandless skirt. Since we are using lining, you can decide to use your lining to turn it in. So if you are using your lining to turn it in, you will just add 1/2 inch here, and then you use your lining to turn it in. If you want to have a band, you can also have a band. Like I said in the other video, what you need to do is, this is it here. I want to assume that, okay, this side is cut off. Let me cut it off. So this is how we are going to do it. Now you cut it off this way, and then you get a paper like that, and then you place your pattern on it and use a marker or pencil to roll it out. And then from here, since you now have the curve, you are going to go up by the amount of inches, the number of inches you want. If you want it to be 2, if you want it to be 2.5, 1.5, just go up by the number of the inches you want, and then you trace it out. You follow the same curve like that, and then you trace it out. Remember, this is just half of the back, so you are going to cut 2. Remember, it's going to be, your back pattern is going to be in 2, and then for the front you are going to fold it in and cut and fix. And if you want to use your lining to turn it, you can use your lining to turn it. So if you are interested in seeing how I'm going to sew this skirt, you can check my video. I'm going to show you how to fix your bends professionally and how to complete the skirt with your lining. So I also have a video on how to draft a basic skirt, that is a long skirt, and in that video I'm going to show you another method of covering your back. There you are not going to have a vent. On that video, the long skirt has a slit at the back, not a vent. So if you have enjoyed this video, I want you to subscribe, and I also want you to like the channel. It's going to help me to make more patterns. So do have a splendid day. Thank you for watching.